What's up, babe? Skirt, skirt. Time your mother. Crazy, man. Crazy. Phone close, phone show, need a phone hoe. Phone money, phone honey, sipping phone foe. Phone show, blow the glow, never said that. Staying low on my toes, I'ma get that.
It's getting serious, make a bitch delirious. Bitches on my dick, cause a boy so mysterious. That's a mystery, thoughts making history. Wrist keeps spinning like a fucking rotisserie.
It was now 1999, and soon Alex would return to Mount Carmel in the late year. But first, he had a score to settle. Alex Jones would receive a phone call from a viewer. He was saying that his house would be repossessed by the Austin city government. He said that this was hypocritical because one of the Austin City Council's members' house was dog shit.
See that you've lived here, what, since 1947, you said?
May of that year.
May of 1947. And look at these nice trees. It's nice. It's pretty.
Real small when I first came.
You know, and there's pretty English ivy growing here in the trees, and you've got a nice shield around your tree over there to keep it healthy. I could see why the city really, really wants to get its hands on this property like they've done countless others.
Make a parking lot out of it, perhaps.
Oh yeah, or get some rent from a good liberal lawyer or something.
Yes.
This little loving letter right here, I'll just read part of it. Austin Health and Human Services, Travis County Health Department, Environmental Human Services. That's gangsters calling themselves service agents. It says, this is an inform you that a condition in violation of ordinance or state law exists on property located at 407 West 37th Street. If they want to come by and see the evil property that you live on, see, I came by before you, when you first faxed me this. And you told me that since then you raked up a few leaves. That's all you've done to straighten up the property. And it's still shocking to me. It's your property. That's not the argument. You should be able to do what you want on your property unless you've signed a homeowner's clause. And as far as I know, over here on 37th, there is no homeowner's clause, is there?
To my knowledge, I don't recall one.
So you exercised your constitutional right. You've gone to city council. You've written letters. You've made phone calls. And now you're being singled out and being harassed for no reason.
That does seem to be, cause and effect reason. It does seem to be prudent.
How long have you lived here?
Since May of 1947.
Well, how dare you be a hard-working arborist and a person that's engaged in other... I mean, that's just... How dare you?
A bourgeois member. A member of the bourgeoisie.
That's right. Here's his problem.
About 2 weeks later, Alex Jones would visit the residence of a council member to prove their hypocrisy.
Here we are at a council member's house, home, down here in Austin. And I'm not going to tell you their address or who they are, but you ought to see how overgrown their house is. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Very nice little neighborhood over there, I will tell you. I think it makes me the maddest is how the paper countered with that story. We came out and did a story about Mr. Ellingson being harassed by the health department and environmental services, and 2 days later, there was a front page thing on the health department saying how wonderful they are, stopping crime, sewage, and helping the children in East Austin. Why, everything health department did it. This is a council member. Now, we should probably slap up some footage later of Mr. Ellingson's and show you that this is 10 times more overgrown than his property. Selective enforcement, selective enforcement. And we're not attacking this council member. We're just saying, hey, maybe they should know about the hypocrisy in the city that they run, that we've elected them to protect us from their own minions. Even the driveway's overgrown. I mean, look at that. And folks, the camera can't even catch what's going on in this yard. And it's not our business. We don't care. I don't think it's a problem. But the statesman does. The health department does. They agree $2,000 a day fines for non-compliance. Better take their home. Better bulldoze it. The council member owns 2 houses on that street. The one you're looking at right now is supposedly where the neighbors told us she lived, and that's where the hot tip told us she lived, and then we checked it out, and that is where the council member lives. And we asked 5 different neighbors, they all said, oh, yes, the council member lives there. Then they pointed us to the rent property across the street. I don't mean to laugh, but it looks like you'd see a great macaw parrot or something flying through, or Tarzan. It's unbelievable. Totally overgrown. You can't even see the front door. And it's a nice neighborhood. You can see the neighborhood there. I mean, she definitely has the worst properties in that neighborhood. We drove around a few streets and it was just unbelievable.
Alex Jones would help prevent Ellingson's house from being possessed by the city government, but he could not save them all. Joe Campana would lose his house to the government. Alex Jones and friend Dennis Rivers would start a fundraiser and get the man his house back. Dennis Rivers was the lead singer of the band the right-wing Black Helicopter People, and he would write and record the song The Ballad of Joe Campana.
Come and listen to the story about a man named Joe. The city council said, Joe, your house has got to go. KI News put the story on their show, and out came the Black Helicopter People. The kooks, that is. The so-called anti-government right-wing conspiracy nuts. The call went out for to save Joe's home. The SOS was shouted out by Mr. Alex Jones. Patriots came and they did all they could do to help to save this hero of World War II. The big one, that is. Joe was a junior in high school with a farm exclusion and an only child exclusion when they drafted him and tested the atomic bomb on him. Next thing you know, old Joe's yard was filled with friendly volunteers and materials to build. They said, we're gonna help you, and you will not have to leave your silver-painted trailer or the comforts you need. The comforts of home, you see, whatever they may be, they're private property, a man's castle, or supposed to be. Now it's time to say a thanks to Joe and all his friends. And we would like to thank you folks for kindly pitching in. And thanks for coming out for barbecue that Saturday to have a heaping helping of our hospitality. American hospitality, that is. It was all made and born in the USA, just like our new American hero, Mr. Joe Campana.
Austin vet is moving into his new home today. KI has followed Austin volunteers as they help build new dreams for Joe Campana.
Now it was late summer, and Alex Jones is due to go to Waco. The church needed to be rebuilt. On his first day he arrived, it was late, so he went to bed. When he woke up, there was a problem. Jeff Davis went out to get a bagel for everybody in the party when he noticed something strange. Of course, calling Mike Hansen woke everybody up, got his camera, and went to go film the Ku Klux Klan marching on the Waco government building.
I think we ought to go down and stake out a place for the Klan.
Are they marching or I thought they were just
Nice boat.
Huh?
On the wrong side.
Oh, what?
Get the sunrise.
Please forgive our government for murdering these innocent children. Please help us to understand what transpired that fateful day. Help us in our path to righteousness and guide us in your humble ways. Save us from all our sins and help us keep to our oaths of secrecy and pledged righteousness. Let us remember to help those who who cannot help themselves and to take action upon it. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses.
Alex's main problem with the Ku Klux Klan is that he believed them to be federal agents. But he had more important things to do. It was time to rebuild Mount Carmel.
What you're seeing is a group of Texas Americans standing up against the police state, standing up against what happened to the Branch Davidians who were demonized back in 1993, the basic cover-up of the federal government. And we're now witnessing the media and many others finally realizing that we've all been lied to, we've all been conned. The Branch Davidians have never changed their story, they've always told the truth, and that's been borne out in the past 6 years. And so now a large group of people here in Austin, we're going to be met by others in Waco and Temple and surrounding areas in Central Texas, are all going to travel to Mount Carmel, the site of the fiery conflagration in 1993, to rebuild the church sanctuary area of the Mount Carmel complex. It's 1999, we're rebuilding the church portion of the Mount Carmel Center that was destroyed April 19th, 1993 by the FBI hostage rescue teams and Army Special Applications Group Delta, or Army Special Operations. And we've had hundreds and hundreds of people out here helping over the last week. We've really only worked on 3 separate days. We guess it's going to take 2 to 3 months to complete this structure. It's 48 by 60. We've changed the plans twice, but since construction last week, we've gone ahead and set it at that size. That's not counting the front porch. We certainly need volunteers and people to support what we're doing out here to 292-0070, or you can simply go to Infowars.com, short for Information War, Infowars.com. There is a war on for your mind. And we have directions here to Bellmead. It's actually northeast of Waco, just a few miles. And it's a real experience. It's about defying the false reality that we're all up against. We're out here, it's week 17, and I'm digging around out here in some of the rubble piles. We've been digging up household implements, knives, forks, scissors, batteries, and a lot of fragments from government grenades and tear gas rounds. We've also been finding a lot of different 50 cal rounds, 223 rounds for conventional firearms. Really interesting and historical. It's too bad the feds came out here and scraped away most of the topsoil and took the pieces of the storm shelter, the storage area inside where they killed the children with the shape charge, shipped it off to a landfill outside Waco and covered it up with concrete. We're trying to dig up what we can out here while we're constructing the new sanctuary. Very historical, and it's great to be a part of it.
Mount Carmel was almost rebuilt. While Alex Jones was helping in the rebuilding process, he tied with Shannon Burke for the year's poll of the best Austin radio talk show host, which was a great success in Alex Jones' mind. It was early December, and Alex Jones had a lot going on. But it was the new year that would start to pick up for him. On January 1st, he would release his next film.
Mill got the sauce, I got the drip. Got too many bitches, fuck the Uber, called the ship. They wanna fuck right now.
Yo, thanks for doing the epic. Hit that cool subscribe button and check out the links in the description, or I'll piss in my own mouth.